What's up, everybody? Welcome to Becoming Super Conscious. I am your host, Tommy Sobel. This isn't what I planned to discuss today, but with a lot of the recent events, the recent assassinations, and what's going on abroad, I just want to share my point of view from a spiritual perspective. I think what it really feels like and what I think we're in the middle of right now is a spiritual war. If you're like me, which you probably are because you're here, you probably feel a lot, and you probably feel more than the people around you and feel more activated, feel more scared, feel more anticipatory dread and pressure. I feel like many of us have been feeling this sense of worry about the future and worry about where this divisiveness is going. And, I was at a friend's house yesterday, and he gave me a little microdose of LSD, and I started feeling a lot more. I was feeling more in my body, feeling this greater intensity of presence. I was throwing a bunch of kids around a pool and just having the best time, and was just feeling so present, and then also this heightened state of awareness, of aliveness. And stepping out of that pool and spending time by myself driving home, I was feeling even more of this background intensity in my body, in my spirit, in my mind. And I think what I've been struggling with is that I actually, because I'm so sensitive, because I feel so much, because I feel other people's pains and want humanity to progress and be at peace, I think I actually spend most of my time trying not to feel. And I've done a really great job compartmentalizing and not feeling. It's a skill. It's a learned skill to be able to witness horror and not be completely destroyed by it emotionally and mentally and spiritually. And I like that I've built up a thick skin. I like that I've been able to be witness and a part of the tensions of the day and still be able to live my life and still be able to do my work. But I think what can happen with many of us, me included, is if we don't give ourselves the time to just let those feelings really rise to the surface, to actually, without any resistance, feel overwhelm, to feel that despair, to feel the hopelessness, the helplessness that is valid. It is a valid emotion to feel when there are horrors happening. And I think that instead of creating guardrails for us to never feel those negative emotions, to never feel the despair, I think that by compartmentalizing it and keeping it at bay, it's like a beach ball that we try to push underwater. And the harder we try to push it underwater, the more energy we spend, the more focus we give it. And at some point, that beach ball is going to pop up to the surface and hit you in the face. There is a time to focus on the acute crisis, and then there is a time to feel. And there's a time to let those emotions come up, that is the balance, so that you can not hold that inside and make that become an emotional beach ball that hits you in the face later. And so what's required is making sure that you have time and space where you are unstimulated, where you are not checking social media, where you are not checking your phone, where you can be alone, ideally in nature, at the beach, in a park, with some trees, or even in a pool, the underlying emotions that are not appropriate to be processed when you're in the office, when you're at work, when you're trying to get shit done, to let those come up and come out. And for those of us that are healers, for those of us that are seekers who want to help humanity to progress, to welcome in a new level of consciousness, a level of peace that we have not yet experienced, we might think that to fight this spiritual war, we are meant to fight. We are meant to protest. We are meant to be an antagonistic force against autocracy, authoritarianism, racism, intimidation, bullying, all of these antiquated but prevalent forces that are working against us. The assumption is that we need to resist. Although there might be a place for that, I'm definitely cool with protesting on the streets, definitely make voices heard, share the truth. But I think what I'm trying to say is what you resist persists, and what you focus on grows, right? We might feel that to help humanity right now, we need to shout and yell. We need to convince others. And that all feels externally oriented, where we need to focus on what other people are thinking and feeling. We need to have other people feel the same way we do. But the focus really should be on ourselves. In these moments, the best thing that I think we can do is to heal ourselves. You know, they say that hurt people, and that's definitely true. But healed people heal people. Like, how do you fight the darkness? That's basically what we're talking about. How do you fight the spiritual war of darkness? You don't fight darkness with darkness. You don't stoop to darkness's level. That just creates more darkness. The way that you fight darkness is with the light. When you bring a candle into darkness, the candle just is the light. It brings its own energy, its own peace, the calm, the presence that the light, the candle brings. That is the way that the darkness goes away. A candle does not need to do anything except be that light, and that is enough. And so as you are trying to do the best that you can, and you're trying to help, and you're trying to help your family, your friends, the people that you discourse with and agree with and disagree with, all of that is okay. Healthy discourse is important. I just want to remind myself and remind you guys that that is less important than making sure that you are processing your own trauma, you are processing your own fears, letting those rise to the surface so they can be released. What comes up comes out. And then on the other side of that is your own peace, is your own clarity, is your own sense of freedom and sanity. The only way to create more sanity is to be sane. If you want less divisiveness, don't bring divisiveness. If you want more sanity, bring more emotional sanity. The way to create less strife is to bring in more peace, to be and embody and present the energy of what you want others to be. So I just want to acknowledge that if you've been feeling too much or you've been feeling nothing, there's a chance that you either have been scrolling a lot, falling into addictive patterns, watching TV late at night, not exercising or moving your body as much, not reaching out to people, not going to that event. And those patterns, the patterns of hiding or addiction or bad habits, the overeating, those habits are really just a sign of you not processing those emotions. And in this spiritual war, witnessing assassinations, part of the purpose of that is to get us into that fear state, to get us into that feeling of helplessness, of not knowing a way out, so that we do fall to our lesser urges so that we fall to our addictions and our bad habits. And I want you to know that even though that's something that has been coming up for me a lot as well, it's okay for that to happen, and realize that the way through that is to close your eyes, let those feelings come up, or do a healing with somebody, do an energy clearing. Going into nature is a really great way to do that. Spending time alone without technology, having no inputs, unstimulated time, taking 3 to 6 deep breaths. These are all really great examples, but getting those emotions up and out is going to get those negative patterns up and out as well, so that you can have more hope. The hope is behind you feeling the helplessness. The hope and the motivation to get back on the horse, to take care of yourself, is behind you feeling those feelings of hopelessness. If you've fallen off the horse of discipline and you've been feeling unmotivated and you've been feeling overwhelmed and burnt out and not really doing the most important thing, unfocused, it's probably because of unprocessed energy in the world that is affecting you consciously or unconsciously, that just needs to come up and come out. You don't need to microdose LSD. I do invite you to find the time to stop compartmentalizing those feelings. Your feelings, that despair, the tension and pressure that you feel, you being empathic, that is one of your gifts. We need that. We need you to feel. By feeling how you feel and letting that come up, you are healing yourself. For me, yesterday, as I was feeling way more and then enjoying a drive up PCH, watching the ocean, I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling that dread. I was feeling that fear. I was like, are we headed to the apocalypse? Is the rapture coming? And what's so interesting is that after letting myself ask those questions, after letting me feel that worry and despair, after that, I felt better. After that, I was able to be more present with my family for dinner. I felt differently. These emotions that we feel, they are just energy in motion, but we need to let that energy move, let that emotion come out. I feel so different today. I feel this sense of groundedness. I feel this sense of hope. I feel like this created more of a purposeful message for me to share today, so that everyone else that's been feeling the way I feel can also be reminded or empowered that when we actually let ourselves feel those emotions and let them come up, that we do feel better afterwards, and then we can just become the light. I feel more ready to take on my challenges. I feel less burdened and worried about the future today than yesterday, only because of letting those emotions come up. Taking that time, being present in that pool, hanging out with those kids, the microdose helped. That's the best thing that I could have done to support my clients, support my family, support all the people that I care about, is to get my own energy right first. And so I welcome you to prioritize yourself, take care of yourself, really let those emotions come up so that you can get onto the other side and get back to hope. But to wrap this up, the best way that you can fight this spiritual war is not think of it as a fight, but think of it as a self-care, self-love journey. By you taking care of yourself, by you getting back into peace of mind, by you getting back into hope and security, that is one of the best ways that you can fight this war and that you can help heal everybody. I hope that helps. That's just what I've been wanting to share today. Thanks so much for listening. If you like these spiritual rants, let me know. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what this podcast is. So please do let me know what resonates most with you. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.